Welcome back to the lab, where some idiot's destroying a perfectly good K12 March and turning it into an absolutely horrible race car. Earlier on we talked about the battery situation, or lack thereof right now. That's been taken out, so we've had a relatively small battery in there in the past. A lot of people say battery. There's no such thing as a bat tree. Well, I mean, there's a tree with bats in it, right? So we've had one of those in there, and as you can see, there's another one there. They lasted a reasonable amount of time, to be fair. Did the job for 5 years or thereabouts. And ultimately, it's got to the point where they just can't quite keep up. Could be something to do with an earth strap that I've done, and I'll just show you that now, actually. There was a great big massive cable right there where that little earth tab is, where that yellow terminal is attached to a much smaller earth that runs off to something else. I took the great big cable out that was basically the size of that orange positive cable there and replaced it with that little aluminium tab, knowing full well that aluminium tab has got higher resistance than copper or whatever the cable was. Might have been some other stainless steel or whatever it was out in the aircraft. Not overly concerned over that, but may have been contributing. But if that was, if that was enough to tip it over the edge, it was struggling to do it anyway. So basically, a poor little thing couldn't start. We got ourselves a new battery, thanks to Stuart Fox from Wairau Mufflers and Brakes, I think his business is called, something like that. I made the mistake of saying this was a 60 amp hour battery earlier on, previous video. It obviously isn't. I mean, it's got a 6 in the number, but it's definitely not 60. So it's not 3 times bigger than what that one there was. These are 22 amp hour, those little wee ones there. And that's 26 amp hour. So it's not significantly bigger battery, but it's an AGM style battery rather than a lead acid one. And you can see just from the size of it, the plates and everything, its ability to deliver the voltage at higher amperage is much higher, so this should do the trick. The problem being, of course, it's an ugly colour to put in front of the car, but never mind, we'll get around that. I have a plan. Fake carbon fibre. So we're going to get on with, first of all, the same as almost everything with the March. Nothing goes in there without being modified. We've got piddly little M5 studs on here. Little wee M5, itty bitty tiny. These are things to hold model airplanes together and model cars, not deliver many cranking amps to a big 3.5 litre V6 with high compression pistons in it. So first things first, put the drill the right way. There we go, that's better. So a little bit of tape around there. That's a good trick, so that when you're hacking into things, I'm not going to do this one-handed holding the camera, you don't drill too far and destroy your brand spanking new battery, because that'd be bad. And then we'll tap that out to M6. M6 is marginal, it's enough to do the job just, but obviously bigger would be better, but we don't really have enough material here to go bigger. We can drill that hole out larger and we can put a larger thread in it, but then we start running out of stud on the outside edge of it, so it's pointless. So we'll just go M6, do that. There we go, that was easy. Studs are sorted, they're now M6, and we've got that on our beautiful Repco battery charger thingy set to AGM, gel AGM, good as gold. That'll make sure that's fully charged before we try and explode it. Next step is to convert this arrangement to accept that battery, or find another place to put the battery. Ideally, for this particular car, because I'm a big fat fella and I sit here basically in the middle, so that's okay, but it's clearly off to the right hand side of the vehicle, your left hand side of the screen. The weight would need to be forward and to the left, but some silly fella put one of those there pumpy thing there's in there, and that's actually probably weighs more than the battery that we're installing. So that's better to stay there than shift that away and put the battery there. They can be mounted, those things there, pretty much any orientation. assuming the box is the battery. You put it like that, you can put it, whatever you want to do with it, like that, like that, like that. Any orientation, it's going to be fine. It's not going to care. So if we knew that we'd never ever have a little accident and bump into something, the front left corner here would be alright. There'd be room to fit it just in there. That'd be okay. A little bit difficult for maintenance and stuff, but wouldn't be an issue. But it's a race car. The likelihood it's going to get bumped into something at some point in time, pretty high. So we'll put it there. Basically, I think what's going to end, I have not measured it yet, but what's going to end up happening is this line that we have across here is going to end up being just in front of that screw instead. So we might even be able to keep these lightning holes if we are lucky. Let's get the old measuring stick out, see how that goes. Not a chance. That thing's 175 front to back. If we have the terminals running across the car, which probably is the better way to install it, otherwise we end up with a positive terminal at the front here. I'd rather keep the positive terminal as far away from the front of the car as possible. So we end up with the back of the battery right at the very back edge of where those lightning holes are. A little bit of a reinventing of the entire area, but that's okay. We can do that. I'm sure we've got enough aluminium. I hope we've got enough. No, we've got heaps. Gaping big hole. Should be easy, right? Although, remember I was thinking about changing these relays. Now I'm going to reinvent all this. Do I build something to fit those? Do I sort out new relays? Hey, this is why, I was going to say, these are the reasons why these things take so long, but that sounds complicated, so this is why these things take so long. That sounds better, right? Ideally, weight needs to go that way, right? Turn the battery so the positive studs here, but you don't really want it quite that close to the big explodey burny thing, unless we put some insulation of some description along there, which we could do. You'll have to excuse all the noise from the lovely rain shine outside there. So starting from scratch, with a clean slate, so to speak, except it's not slate, but that's the hole. That big for the new battery. Now I've got to fold up some stuff and things and fold a piece to go underneath to hold it. We'll do a little return like these ones that I've done here. There's actually one on the back there as well to give it some strength. So we'll do from this face down along the bottom, same on the other side. We'll do that on the bottom sides to tie it all together, give it some strong, otherwise it won't be move around too much. We don't want that. It's a beautiful day. Anyway, I've got this far, so that's the back of the car. This is the front side that we look at it from. Those flickery lights again. We've got a little return, like I said, on there and on the top, so it's well supported to stop it going this way or that way. And obviously there's basically no room front to back either, so that's going to be pretty secure. What I'm going to do is make a panel that goes down all sides and covers the entire top of this, except for the area where the studs are, and that should stop us seeing the big ugly white thing. As is typical with absolutely everything we do on race cars, this is taking a long time. Never mind, it's looking good. It's like 3:30 now. So none of this has got any form of attachment just yet, or any provisions for where the wires are actually going to go, etc., because I might change all that. But that there hole there, that's for the battery to go in there. This big hole in the bottom here is because there's going to be no way to pick the battery up otherwise. So with that, you stick your hand underneath, Might take two people actually by the time someone gets their hand under there and someone else grabs the battery. Not going to be easy. Hopefully it won't have to come in and out of the car too often. So the cover is sort of made, not finished. A lot of work to go. We probably should polish that or something, shouldn't we? Really, that'll go on. It'll go on there about like that, something like that. A lot of room where the terminals are, so that even if all this all gets munched up, it's not going to be able to arc out, short out, or anything like that. And obviously, that side doesn't matter. That's negative. You can do whatever you like with that. Won't cause any problems. This is a positive one. You want to make sure you cannot short that out, no matter what happens. So, and that's why we have to have a boot on our cable, etc. Not masking tape. That's there for another reason. Okay, I'm going to drop the battery in the hole. Doesn't look terrible. It'll do. Kind of fits in with the theme. There may be, I think I've discussed it before, there may be another tank a bit like this for a vent for our gearbox, transfer box and front diff in this general area. Still need to make sure we've got good access to all that sort of stuff, so I'll figure that out. Still have not mounted these. Used the sketchy earth tab, actually still bolted back in even though everything's completely different place and all that sort of carry on. And gave it a little bit of a crank test. Have not started it. Excuse the dodgy camera work there. Seems to crank a bit faster. And haven't exploded cobwebs from the ceiling yet, so well, I mean, I gave it 2 little short cranks before I started the video, so no, I wasn't intending it to actually fire up, but there you go. It proved point. That was a lot easier to start than what it had been with this, with the smaller batteries. Nobody should be surprised at all. So that's there for a reason. I probably won't use this. I do have one of the other style that's got the removable key, but I've lost it. It's around somewhere. I'll find it. Just thinking it might be in my pile over here. Is it in my pile over here? This is getting E85. Can you smell that? Somewhere here. It's probably in here. Nah. Nah. He's lost it. He's lost it. Definitely lost it. Lost the switch. Lost my mind. Doesn't matter. Okay, alright, that'll do for today, guys. That's all I wanted to do, is get that battery mounted. That's done. I'll pop that earth tab back off so we don't have a bonfire overnight. That'd be bad. And we'll see what we get up to tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Cheers, bye.